Hello. I probably should put the camera on. That might be a good thing. Uh, hello, hello everyone, and welcome to a brand new episode of Adastra with your host Fallenwolf. Ow! So, the first thing I noticed is the menu is different. I thought I had the last version, which is 17 or 1.7 or whatever you want to call it, but apparently I didn't. Last time I checked after I finished, I went through it and I said, wait a minute, this is not the last version that came out. So this is the last version. As you can see, the last version, the last update that came out, they completely updated the UI, which is fantastic. I did like the setting sun from the previous one, but this one's a lot better. I like this one a lot more. You get a little overview of what Adastra exactly looks like. But anyway, how are we all doing today? I am excited. I'm really happy to get back into this. I really love this visual novel. I am so excited to get back into it, despite a few discrepancies with plot and pacing. I love this VN, and we need to get finished. I have to get finished so we can move on to Kemia. I think it's Kemia. Which is the sequel to this. I don't know too much about it. I've been purposely avoiding spoilers. I've been purposely avoiding watching Dirk the Red Panda play it. I watched him and Decker play a little tiny bit of it. I only watched him play like a few minutes because I didn't want to ruin anything. I want, like everybody knows, I wouldn't be surprised. When I play these visual novels, I think the best thing I can give my audience and myself is to be surprised. Which sucks because it means I'm not really watching YouTubers. Mostly the most visual novel YouTubers I've been watching is Ookie Cookie, and only because they play so much stuff, and a lot of it's stuff I know I'm not going to play. It's mostly like human yaoi stuff that I'll watch just to see how I feel about it. But most of that stuff I'm not going to really play on this channel. This is pretty much furry. But that is a thought. If you guys would be interested in me playing yaoi or Yuri, I think it's called, if it's girl love, let me know. Wear my fursuit. I wish I had a fursuit. I am Batman. I am a broke guy. Maybe one day. I'm hoping one day. I'm crossing my fingers for next year. I'm crossing my fingers that I can order one next year. We'll see how it goes. I'm not that good with saving money. Not only that, it's kind of hard to save money when you don't really have money to save. Okay, but we're gonna get started because, like I said, I want to get through as much today. I have to go to work too in about 5 hours, so I kind of need to, this is not gonna be as long as last time. I'm gonna try to go for 2 hours. Hopefully, we'll go through. Like I said, I really enjoy this visual novel. I'm gonna keep going. Yeah, that's really about it. I know most people who probably watch this have already watched it. Quick thing, please, no spoilers in the comments, in case for people who haven't possibly finished playing it yet. I haven't finished playing it yet, so I don't know what happens too much. I don't really know what happens. I know little bits and pieces, but I don't want to know. Like I said, the whole reason for doing this, I want to be surprised, and I think people here want to be surprised. So please, no spoilers. Feel free to comment amongst yourself in the chat room in the meantime. Obviously, y'all should know. Y'all are adults, or I'm hoping close to adults. Y'all should know what is tolerated, what's not tolerated. If I see something that's going on that I don't agree with, I'll give a warning, unless it's extremely bad, and then I'll just, mute you. So, right, we're gonna load. Hopefully it did not. I was like, I hope it didn't mess up my save files. It's probably this one. Real quick, last time, oh, also there's a gallery, which I freaking love. There's an actual gallery that lets you go back to the stuff. I'm gonna not really keep on it because, it has nudity, and I'm not trying to get shut down already. Oh, and even the text boxes are different. I didn't even notice that. Even the text boxes are different, so I'm excited. Basic forte. If the volume doesn't sound like if the volume sounds off, let me know. If I'm blocking something, I'll try to take care of it myself, but if it looks like I'm blocking something and I don't happen to notice, you can shout out and say, hey, listen, Fallen, you're blocking the sexy person. So, you know how it is. Okay. I toss and turn. Alright, there we go. I toss and turn most of the night, even while Nephru snores loudly in his own bed. I go over what I might be able to say to Cassius in case things go wrong for whatever reason. I find that difficult to do, though, especially considering how angry and unpredictable the wolf can be sometimes. I managed to get maybe a couple hours of sleep. I think they upgraded stuff, because this looks a lot... It looks more defined. The lines look clearer. But as soon as the sun starts shining through the opening in the roof, I'm up and ready for Virginia to come get me. That doesn't happen until about an hour later, and Nephru only lifts his head for a moment when the wolf enters before groaning and dropping it back to the pillow. I'm hoping that he doesn't remember what happened yesterday, for his sake. The amount of anticipation in the air is almost too much for me to handle as I follow Virginia to the throne room. It's a feeling that I haven't felt since the trials, since when I thought I was about to be able to fly back home. Now, though, it's the anticipation that I'll be able to get Amicus out of the dungeons. We pause at the door, Virginia glancing at me. Remember, speak only if absolutely necessary. This is of the utmost importance. I nod silently. I get the feeling that she hadn't wanted me to come, but Nephru probably insisted. The wolf reaches out and presses the panel opening the door. I follow her and immediately spot Cassius on his throne, still in his little booster seat, but there's someone else too. We chose it today because Cato still hadn't returned from his trip, thus leaving Cassius alone. Nope, sorry. Hold on, quick thing. Hold on. There we go. Now, though, Alex is here, kneeling beside the throne, his head on the armrest, while Cassius strokes his head, his other paw occupied with a tablet-like device. He glances up. Ah, sister and Mark, what was it you needed? Virginia is silent until we stop at the base of the steps. I come to a stop just behind her, to her left. Cassius narrows his eyes as he looks down at us, probably realizing that this is no ordinary visit. Meanwhile, Alex just stares at us inquisitively, looking innocent and oblivious as he always tries to. Brother, I have something very, very important to discuss with you. Cassius regards her for a moment, then glances at me. Why is he here? It involves him. It involves all of us, actually. Cassius frowns deeply, expression growing more and more sour. And what is it, Virginia? Virginia takes a deep breath. Cassius, you must abdicate. Oof. He's not gonna like that, because he's not. I don't know how he's gonna take this. I don't think Cassius is not gonna like that. I mean, even though he's not really a good ruler and he's more a puppet ruler right now, he's not really ruling. Cato's more ruling. He's just allowing him to be pretty much Cassius is the public face right now. He's not really the ruler per se. It's more he's just public there you go. Public figurehead. I couldn't say the word. So let's see where this is going. It takes Cassius a moment to take that in, but when he does, his eyes widen and his nostrils flare, leaning back in his throne like he's been slapped. Excuse me? I wonder if this is the best way to go about telling Cassius that we're about to try and take the throne from him. I look around, wondering if there are any drones that he might use to blast us with. Cassius, we all know that this is illegitimate. You must consider... Enough! I will hear no talk of this, from my own sister, no less. Leave at once. The young wolf is shaking in his seat, wide-eyed, ears flat. Well, you must hear it. I must not! I followed every protocol. I am in my rightful place. Leave now, or I will have the drones escort you. Alex is sitting up straight now, staring at us, his ears perked, and I kind of wish that we could have had him leave the room. Virginia remains calm, simply gazing back at Cassius with an almost static look. Brother, you must hear it, because we have proof of your deception. Cassius seems to have recovered from its initial shock, though he's still trembling a bit, chest heaving for breath. What proof? Virginia takes a deep breath. You know that we already know about the staging, but we have footage of the third trial. All of it. Cassius stays quiet, unsure what to say. We have contacts in Adastra that will release it to the public tomorrow evening. Cassius swallows hard. I will close the news channels. Not only to the news channels, but in portable formats as well that may be copied and spread. You will not be able to stop all of it. Cassius opens his mouth, then closes it. Then opens it again, then closes it. He didn't see this coming at all. Finally, his shoulders drop and he stares at the floor. Virginia, how could you do this to me? Virginia frowns, actually looking a bit sad. How could you take the throne in such a dishonest manner? Mother taught you better. Do not speak of Mother! Cassius' response is instant and angry before he deflates again. The silence stretches out for a while before Virginia speaks again. I know you, Cass. I know you're an honest, honorable wolf. I know you don't want the Empire ship like this. Cassius goes on staring off into space. Do you even want to be Emperor, Cassius? Virginia looks sharply over at me, but I ignore her for now, looking right up at Cassius. He turns his gaze slowly to me. What sort of question is that? Remember when we saw the parents together? Cassius instantly bristles, his ears turning a deep red. You remember what they said, right? I don't remember. Sure. Anyway, you know what the parents think, what they want. Just listen to them. They only want what's best for this empire. Cassius closes his eyes, taking a deep breath. Oh, Akira, you've been uploaded. I gotta check out your channel. I haven't checked out your channel for a while. I haven't really been paying attention a lot to YouTube. Most stuff has been on just as background noise when I'm, like, working. But, like, I really haven't been, like, watching stuff, per se. Cassius closes his eyes, taking a deep breath. Why are you doing this to me? He says it quietly, and I'm not sure if he's talking to me, Virginia, or the both of us. Because we also want what's best for the Empire, Cassius, and that involves a legitimate emperor that rightfully sits upon the throne. I can't just abdicate. How many emperors have even done that? The humiliation would be too great. For the first time, I hear some resignation in Cassius's voice, and I actually do believe that he doesn't want this emperorship anymore. I jump in again. We can make up any story you want, Cassius. It doesn't have to be a shameful thing. We can make it seem honorable, even though I think it already is if you do step down. Again, Cassius is silent, and I can only imagine all the things that are going through his head right now. He knows that the release of the footage will destroy his image, cause unrest, probably to the point that he'd never be able to recover if he remained on the throne. He already knows that he's been beaten. Alex, meanwhile, continues to sit at his side, just staring at the two of us. I'm surprised he hasn't said anything at all, and again, I'm not sure whose side he's on. Also, you need to demote Cato from advisor, otherwise he will become acting emperor again. Cassius looks sharply at us. We know he's behind all of this, that you're a puppet, Cassius. Cassius bristles and Virginia shoots me another warning look. But you're still the emperor. You have complete power over your advisor. You can easily cut those strings. Cassius looks about ready to say something to protest, but again he slumps down, just glaring at his knees. That would automatically make Amicus emperor. It's not a question, just a defeated statement. We don't say anything. I suppose he was always destined to be that. I was a fool to think I could make this work. Virginia's ears perk up, and I feel a swooping feeling in my chest like I just missed a step. Alex just looks up at Cassius, frowning. Cassius shakes his head. I'll need to think. You said tomorrow evening? The 14th hour. Cassius sighs and nods. I see. I will make an announcement tomorrow after breakfast. I need to meditate. Certainly. Cassius drops his paw to his lap and picks up the glass tablet again, and just like that, we're dismissed. As Virginia turns to go, I quickly speak up. Cassius? Can I see Amicus again? He rolls his eyes. Gods, yes, in fact. He looks up at the ceiling. Com, send Mark's access to the dungeons is unrestricted. He'll be free by tomorrow anyway, I'm sure. Thank you. I bow because it feels like the right thing to do, but Cassius only grunts in response. and then quickly followed Virginia out into the hallway, almost skipping with relief and excitement. Holy shit, that was easy. Yes, that was. That was a little too easy. I thought we might have a little struggle. I'm like 99% sure he's going to just give up the Emperorship, but I don't know. I don't think Cato is going to just give up being advisor. I feel like there's something else is going to happen. I whispered to the she-wolf as she maintains that stoic look. It really was, wasn't it? It seems like Cassius isn't enjoying his position on the throne after all. Did he think it would be easy? I think he never looked past beating Amicus. Now that he has, well... I shake my head. If that was his only reason, then he deserves this. Well, I don't believe it was his only reason. He simply didn't prepare himself beyond the trials. Virginia side-eyes me. And don't get too excited just yet. Nothing is final until Cassius says the words. Yeah, but it looks like he's definitely going to. It does, yes, but remain careful and vigilant. Also... Virginia pauses as we reach a branch in the hallway where we would part ways so that I can go to the dungeons. I stop and look up at her, stepping from one foot to the other, eager to tell Amicus the news. You've noted my loyalty to Amicus over the past week, yes? Yeah? At the very least, this would be deserving of some time of official position, don't you think? You want to be chief advisor, right? Yes, and you are very close to him. I'll get him to make it happen. The wolf almost looks shocked. I don't know why, though. I assumed this was always part of the plan. Thank you, Mark. Of course, I'll see you later today. I leave the wolf standing there, try not to walk too fast on my way to the dungeons. See, everybody has a game. This is, it's like I said before, like I think one of the episodes is called Game of Pause. This literally is Game of Pause. It's like everybody has a motive to doing what they do. I'm very curious about Virginia's story. Like, I do want to know more about her story. Amicus is shocked when I tell him the news, obviously, but like Virginia, he tells me to stay cautious. Anything can happen between now and when Cassius makes the announcement. And we're definitely not guaranteed an abdication during said announcement. Either way, I promise Amicus to come back down first thing in the morning and tell him the news. I leave him in good spirits and I catch Amicus's tail wagging more than it usually does. We might actually be at the end of this nightmare. I don't feel like it's that easy. Something's gonna happen. Mark. Mark? Huh? I stare at the ceiling, wondering for a moment where I am. Mark, your presence is requested at breakfast. What? I try to focus, the memories of last night slowly coming back to me. I'd returned to Virginia and Nephro having a drink to celebrate her Why are we not shown this scene? That was a scene that I would have liked to see. Why are we skipping? Again, the pacing for the beginning... But then again, no, the pacing for the beginning was rushed too. The pacing for the very beginning was fine, but then later on it just skips days and weeks ahead with us get little snippets of what happened. This is doing that again. This is skipping. I mean, that would have been an interesting scene to see all of us, the main character, Virginia and Nephru having a drink and discussing what they're going to do next. But instead, we're told. We're told, not shown. I know it's a little small nitpick, but I just don't like it. I don't like it. I wish that they would show more. I feel like the pacing, we discussed this in the last episode, but I feel like the pacing, once again, is all over the place. I feel like the pacing does not have a definite tone. I joined them in, maybe I had too much. It's a bit blurry, but the splitting headache is evidence enough. Then I remember that Cobb woke me up. Wait, breakfast? Yes, your presence is requested immediately. I hadn't had breakfast with the family since Amicus was in prison. Why would they request me now? That gets me nervous knowing what's about to happen today. I look over to once again see Nephru sleeping in his bed, his fur uncharacteristically mused up, just like yesterday morning. Quickly, I jump out of bed, throwing on my robes and trying to straighten out my hair as I hurry out and towards the dining room. I wonder if maybe Amicus is already out of the dungeons. Maybe he's the one requesting my presence? But as I reach the door, I realize that's not the case. Oh! Ooh. Oh boy. Everybody looks a little surprised and worried. I'm not liking this. Oh no, what's gonna happen? I'm not liking this. Oh no. All right, let's see what's gonna happen. Oh boy. Virginia, Cassius, and Cato sit on the beds while Alex kneels in front of Cassius. As I walk in, I can immediately tell that something's off. The air is tense. I come to a gradual stop, unsure what to do as the rest of them glance up at me. His voice trembled. Is that Mark? How nice of you to join us. Would you care to serve us our food and drink, please? Something is very wrong here. Did Cassius tell Cato about what happened? There's not much else I can do except walk over to kneel beside Alex, reaching out to begin serving the wolves. It's completely silent as all of them just watch me fumbling around with the food. Finally, Virginia breaks the silence. Cato, is there a reason you called us all to breakfast? Cato turns his head in Virginia's direction. Can't I enjoy a meal with the royal siblings? I simply wanted to discuss my trip with you. Oh, I see. It's just been so long since we've had a scheduled breakfast. It may be a good habit to get back into. Wouldn't you agree, Emperor Cassius? Oh, yes, definitely, Cato. How was your trip? Wonderful. I had the pleasure of visiting Adrote. Being the entertainment capital of Adastra, I had such a good time observing the plays, despite my inability to observe. Cato starts laughing loudly, and I can tell why everyone's on edge. This isn't like Cato at all. No, he knows something. He knows something. Oh boy, he has to know something because he's acting really suspicious. Sorry, real quickly, Chase. You recommended the changing of pace. I would agree with that, but as far as I know, from what I heard, Howley had very little to do with this visual novel, Adastra. I don't know about Kemia. As far as I know, for Adastra, he kind of just had the basic storyline, but he didn't really write this per se. Again, I could be wrong, and if I am wrong, please, correct me. As far as I know, the writer was completely different. I think I was told though the previous part that supposedly the writer was having some issues, some personal issues going on as they were writing this. So perhaps that is part of the problem. I don't know. Like I said, maybe Kemiya fixes that. I will have to play Kemiya to find out. But oh no, I completely agree. If he wrote this himself, because how many visual novels? Currently, there are 4 visual novels that are actually out. There's with the Echo project. There's Echo. There's Echo, Adastra, Smoke Room, and now there's Kemiya. And I do believe they are working on another visual novel that's going to come out next year that takes place in Echo. I think it's a standalone visual novel, though, but it does take place in Echo. Smoke Room takes place in Echo, too, but it's it's a prequel. Takes place like a few decades before Echo takes place, so. I set a plate out for Cato while Alex does the same for Cassius, and while he's working on Virginia's plate, Cato shifts. Mark, could you hand us all our goblets? I am absolutely parched. I had noticed that the goblets had already been set out in front of each wolf, already filled with wine. Carefully, I hand Cato his goblet, then turn to reach for Cassius's. Fear not, these are the events that shall follow. Oh boy. I blink and I notice Cassius staring at me, raising an eyebrow. I hold out the goblet and my fingers twitch, but I keep a stubborn grip. I shake my head and push the goblet into his paw. I'm about to grab Virginia's, but Alex has already finished her plate and hands her goblet as well. For a while, the wolves eat and drink in silence. At least Virginia and Cassius do. I notice Cato not touching his food at all, simply watching the rest of us. Cassius lets out a loud cough. Alex sets a paw on his leg in concern. Sorry, something in my throat. He takes another drink of his wine. Keep your mind and heart open, Great Ape. You shall receive guidance. My vision flashes and the tension somehow builds, and I know now that something terrible is about to happen. So, Cassius, I hear you have an announcement to make this morning. The entire room freezes as the wolves stop eating and Alex stops serving. I sit there on my knees trying to keep my breathing even, trying to deal with feeling like I have voices in my head, and with Cato apparently discovering our plan at the same time. Oh my gosh, he knows. Is he gonna murder all of us? Because, like, is that why he's like, oh, I'm gonna bring all of these people in and just kill them all off. I'm just gonna kill everybody who's against my rule. Because Cato feels like he'd be... I believe that Cato would be ruthless enough to do that. Cassius finally speaks, or tries to. He coughs again, harder this time. I notice him starting to shake, and Alex again puts a paw on his leg. Cassius, what's wrong? Yes, what's wrong, Cassius? Don't you have a speech to give this morning? You might have to postpone it if you have a cough. Cassius suddenly sits up, trembling. He stares at Cato, wide-eyed, disbelieving, one paw moving to his throat. Oh my god, did he poison him? Cassius! He turns to Alex, reaching a paw out to him, which the cat catches. I can't breathe. Cassius wheezes, looking down into his goblet. Then he suddenly spasms, curling over his stomach before another violent spasm takes him, and he arches out onto the bed, screaming. Oh my god, is he dead? Oh my god, is he dead? No, he's not dead, is he? Oh my gosh, is he dead? Did he? I mean, don't get me wrong, Cassius was kind of a dick, but I mean, I didn't want him to die. I didn't hate him. I didn't dislike, but I didn't hate him. Oh my gosh, is he dead? Is he dead? Did we just witness a murder? Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness, what's happening? It's a hideous sound full of agony. It's so sudden I'm left to just stare in shock, still on my knees. Virginia stands up, moving around her bed to get closer to Cassius. Meanwhile, Alex screams as well, staring in horror at Cassius. Cass, what is it? What happened? Cassius just wreathes under him, even as Alex tries to hold him down. I notice his mouth foaming, red from the wine, the goblet still held in his paw before he drops it, spilling it to the bed and floor. Cass! Alex's voice is filled with despair, probably realizing at the same time I do that Cassius has been poisoned, that he might be dying. Oh dear, are you cramping, Cassius? Perhaps you ate too fast. The hair rises on the back of my neck as I sense Cato sitting behind me. He'd found out about our plan. He'd put a stop to it just like that. Cato, this was way too far! Was it the wine? I almost don't register what Alex just said, but that's when I feel Cato get up behind me. In a few steps, he's standing over Alex and Cassius before he swings the paw hard into Alex's face. Oh my gosh, it sends a small cat flying so far that he's thrown up against the wall. He crumbles there unmoving. Virginia ducks when this happens, but bravely moves forward, grabbing Cassius and turning him over onto his stomach. For a moment, I think Cato was going to do the same to her, but he seems to get himself under control. Was it the wine, then? Well, who served it? He looks around inquisitively, even while Virginia sticks her fingers into Cassius's mouth, shoving them deep until the screaming wolf lets out of her tatch. Cato's eyes settle on me. What did you put in his drink, Simeon? I stay there on my knees, dumbfounded. Then, there's a splattering sound as Cassius vomits up his breath that's tinged red from the wine. Virginia stubbornly continues to gag him, forcing out every little bit that she can. Well, I suppose we'll have to investigate, won't we? Come, send a medical ship from Adastra City. Tell them the Emperor has been poisoned. Yes, Virginia. Cato looks down at me, then before I can move, he reaches out and grabs up my arm. I've felt the power of a wolf before, main one being Amicus, of course, but this is different. It's like he's made of stone. Cato starts pulling me toward the door, and every step feels like my arm is about to be yanked out of its socket. As Cato marches out into the hallway, I grasp at his arm with my other hand, trying to relieve the pressure somehow. The wolf stares straight ahead, ignoring me even as I try to pull away. I can walk. I grit my teeth, my hand already numb. I look left and right, trying to figure out how I might get away. There's no chance for that, though, as I realize we reach Amicus's room. Oh my gosh, I hope that Cassius didn't die, because right now I'm like, I mean, I know they made him vomit it up, but I'm like, is it too late? Oh, hello, Unknown Hal. We're doing good. We're doing good. Glory, sorry, I'm reading the comments. Glory Hound takes place. Yeah, okay, it does take. Is it technically part of the Echo project, or is it its own little thing, Ghost? Because I thought it was its own little thing. I know it's technically part of the Echo project. There's no chance for that, though, as I realize we've reached Amicus's room. Suddenly, I find myself on the floor as the wolf throws me violently into the room. I suggest you stay there. You have no means of escape anyway. I'll be back to discuss things with you. There's some strange humor in his voice with that last part, and before I can even look back, the door shuts and I hear another sound. A click. Okay, things got very intense very quickly, and we're locked in our room now. Fantastic. I sit in Amicus's room in stunned silence for a long, long time. I still haven't been able to comprehend the series of events that had just unfolded. All I can piece together was that Alex, for whatever reason, had tipped Cato off to what we were planning. I suppose the cat hadn't expected Cato to use such drastic measures, judging by his reaction, but he wanted to put a stop to our plans just the same. I don't bother myself with trying to figure out Alex's motive anymore, though. Instead, I'm left to sit here and wonder if there's anything I could possibly do to get out of this. Dude, if Alex is the one that freaking told Cato about our plan, then you know what? He can go, Cato, he can go F himself. Like, seriously. Like, don't get me wrong. I didn't necessarily like Cassius. I don't think anybody really necessarily likes Cassius, but I disliked him. I didn't hate him. I don't want his character to die because he does. I partially see some redeeming qualities to him. It's just weird. Cassius wants to get out or maybe jealous. I think. I don't think he's jealous because I mean his brother has feelings towards us. I don't think he has feelings towards us. If anything, he looks like he seemed like he. It seemed like, if anything, that he has a thing for Alex, which is ironic because apparently he doesn't agree with being gay, but he seemed like he has something he does with Alex. Yeah, he was going too far. I'm like, I didn't want him to poison him, but Cato is yeah, he's interesting. He's not messing around. And now, the way he said he'll talk to us, I'm like, are you going to kill us, too? Or try to? I soon found out that the clicking sound was door locking. I suppose that means Cato was the acting emperor again, with Cassius either incapacitated or even dead. I asked Cobb about Cassius' health, but he only tells me that information is not available to him. So I wait, sitting on the couch for hours, wondering if the next time the door slides open, it will be my death. I need Amicus. Those thoughts become too much for me and I have to get up to walk around, trying hard not to hyperventilate. Maybe Nephro will be able to do something. He must have heard about what happened by now, unless Cato did something to him as well. With a deep breath, I push past the curtain and out onto the balcony. Oh, and here is the original title. I'm going to save this picture because it actually looks very pretty. Looks very pretty for something dark that just happened. It's already late afternoon, but that's not what catches my attention. Instead, it's smoke rising over the city, the sun shining behind it all to give it a strange red glow. I stare, wondering what possibly could have happened in the short time between this morning and now. Calm? Yes, Mark. Why is there smoke over Adastra City? There's a pause. Here's what I found. At approximately the 11th hour, Cato proclaimed himself Emperor of Adastra shortly after Emperor Cassius was poisoned by a child pet. Cato then dissolved the Tremavert and assumed absolute control of the Empire. There are destructive riots in all 7 major cities. Oh, he's going nuts. Oh, he's going nuts. So he literally got rid of the government. He's like, listen, I'm the emperor now. There is nothing to control me. And of course he blamed the poison on us. Is Cassius alive? That information is not available to me, Mark. I sigh and stare down at the water, feeling sick. I wonder how much of this is my fault. At least a little bit, if not all of it, for just being here in the first place. How much of this would have really you know what, it does make you think, how much of this would have really happened if the main character, if the main character never showed up on this planet? Would this have even happened? That is interesting to think about, and it makes you be like, wow, did our character really screw things up like that? Like, funny game. It's a fire. uh, makes you think. You know that Cato's framing me. I'm gonna die. My vision blurs with tears before one drops down into the sloshing lake below me. And then I remember. I deleted my profile from Com's database. I try to remember what I was told about how exactly it works. Something to do with the AI security system? Well, they might be able to deduce what room I'm in based on my voice. Should be blind to my exact location. That would mean leaving the boundaries of the palace shouldn't alert anything. Maybe if I experimentally stick an arm over the railing, then a leg, and before I know it, I'm on the other side of the balcony, the lake sloshing below me. I think about what I can do. I can swim for the shore, make a run for Adastra City, and maybe find someone to help me. Maybe one of those contacts that Nephro and Virginia kept talking about. I could also just hide somewhere, maybe even on the island until things settle down a bit. Running into a city in chaos probably wouldn't be the best move, but I already know what I'm going to do. I'm not going to leave the palace. I'm going to find a way back in. I need to get to Amicus. I need to tell him what happened, and figure out a way to fall back onto our last resort. My stomach twists at the idea, but I know that we're out of choices now. With that, I looked down at the water and let go. I plunged into the water with a splash, the cold taking my breath away in an instant. Immediately, I realized the mistake of jumping into the lake with a heavy robe. I'm able to kick out of the loose-fitting garment within a few seconds, though, and I start swimming around the edge of the balcony toward the shore. It's not that far, but I start to worry as I feel my arms and legs burn from the strain, and even though the beach is right in front of me, it seems to take longer than it should for my feet to touch ground. Just as I feel my limbs start to give out, I feel the sandy bottom of the lake against my toes. I gasp with relief, struggling through the deeper end of the shallows before stumbling to my hands and knees, forcing myself to move forward until I reach the beach. Even now, in this moment of desperation, I have to lay out in the sand for a moment, gasping for breath as I feel my numbed limbs come back slowly to life. I suppose all the anxiety and no food all day have left me feeling weak. I finally realize how exposed I am out here, how easy it would be for someone to see me from the gardens, or even from the windows of the palace. With a grunt, I force myself to roll over and start crawling for the tree line in the garden, so that I can at least have some cover. As I crouch there in just my underwear, still trying to catch my breath, I realize how quiet it is out here. Again, it's a striking contrast to how violently things had changed just hours ago. Finally, after a deep breath, I start pushing my way through the gardens, walking through the foliage rather than using the path. That anyone's taking a garden stroll considering what's happened, but the one thing I've learned is that no one's predictable here. So I try to keep hidden, using the large exotic-looking plants as cover before leaping across paths and ducking into the plant life again. As I get closer to the palace, I try to think of how I'm going to do this. With any luck, no one's actually in the palace. It would make sense after what happened. If anyone is in the palace, I just have to hope they aren't Cato. There's also the problem of actually getting Amicus out of the dungeons. While I might be blind to Com, Amicus definitely isn't. I need to get to Nephro. He would definitely know about what's happened by now. Maybe we could come up with a plan if he doesn't have one already. He always seems to know what to do. Well, usually. I just have to hope that something hasn't happened to him. So as I come up to the palace entrance, I look around. The quiet's starting to become unnerving. I don't see anyone, so, swallowing hard, I jog through the entrance of the palace. The cool air of the hallways hits my damp skin and makes me shiver, both from the cold and the tension. I'm sure to keep close to the walls, always looking ahead to a doorway or pillar that I can duck behind in case I see someone. Luckily, that doesn't happen, and I'm more and more convinced that no one is actually here. Before I know it, I'm coming up on the hall that holds Nephru's room. My breathing quickens as I get closer to the door, knowing that I'll feel a lot better if I could just have some guidance. I've been here for a while, and I've gotten used to the way of things, but I'm completely out of my element now. I make it to the door and reach out, pressing the panel to slide it open. Oh boy, things are about to get serious here. Chase, yeah, probably. You're probably right, though. I think maybe that Chase is talking about and saying that maybe this stuff would have happened anyway, even without the main character. Uh, you're probably right. You might be right. And Nintendo, could Amicus be Emperor? I get the strong feeling that Amicus is going to become Emperor. I'm sure by the end of this story, Amicus is going to become Emperor. because Cassius already has stepped down, and as we can see, he's probably dead. So the only person I can see, and this world doesn't seem to really treat women as equals, so I don't see Virginia becoming emperor or empress. And definitely not Neferu, because Neferu's already the Pharaoh's son, so yeah. The room is empty. I stare for a moment as if doing that will make the jackal magically appear back in his bed where I last saw him. Then I see something on the floor. Green shards of shattered glass, wine bottles knocked from the table to the floor. An ominous feeling starts to blossom in my chest as I note the purplish red stains amongst the glass, the spilled wine dried from how long it's been there. I swallow again to wet my throat, looking to the ceiling, about to call out the comm and ask for Nefer's location. Oh my god, before stopping myself. I don't know if actually learning comm to my location is a good idea. I'm pretty sure the security portion of the AI is separate from the rest of comm, but I don't want to chance it. I stand there for a moment, unsure what to do now. I could go around the palace looking for the jackal. He could be anywhere, really. But seeing the glass, knowing what's happened, I'm just denying what's obvious here. I just have to hope that he's okay, wherever he's been taken. I lean against the frame of the door for a moment, trying to think of what to do next. I could look for Virginia, but I have no idea where her room might be. Besides, if the state of Neferu's room is anything to go by, I wouldn't be surprised if she's been taken somewhere against her will as well. Cato probably knows everything about what we were planning. There's really no other choice but to go into the dungeons, tell Amicus about what's happened, then maybe he'll know what to do. Just as I'm turning to go back out into the hall, though, I hear footsteps. I quickly draw back into the room, reaching up to the panel to shut the door again. Before I do, though, I hear something else. The sound of muttering in a very familiar voice. I linger just inside the room, listening as the voice draws closer. Oh dear, oh Galleon, this is too much, too much! I grit my teeth, listening as the cat comes closer, sounding like he's alone. I suddenly make up my mind to what I'm going to do next. I'm going to be killed. I'm going to be killed. What was I thinking? At that moment, the cat passes the doorway. He's got his paws up to the sides of his face, too busy staring at the ground to even notice me. He's close enough that all I have to do is reach out and grab him by the straps of his robes before yanking him into the room as hard as I can. Immediately, the cat shrieks, the sound bending comically with the force of my tug. I swing him around toward the middle of the room before turning around to quickly shut the door. Alex is still yelling as he tumbles to the ground, rolling several times before coming to a stop next to the shattered bottles. He curls up there, covering his face as he cowers on the ground. Wait, I'm sorry for whatever it is that I did. The cat continues to grovel before finally peeking through his paws to look up at me. He goes quiet, though. He remains fetile, as if deciding if he should still be scared or not. Suddenly, he seems to make up his mind and quickly stands, brushing off imaginary dust as he fixes his face into one of bland disinterest. Oh, Mark, I thought you might be someone else. My apologies. I glare. What reason did you have for grabbing me so roughly? No more bullshitting from you. What the hell is going on? The cat finally stops fidgeting and faces me, though he doesn't make eye contact, staring at the door behind me instead. Well, I'm sure you already know that, don't you? I'm surprised Cato let you out, to be honest. Something about Alex's demeanor, not only the way he's acting now, but the way he's been acting for the past month, gets to me at that moment. I step forward suddenly, and though I want to hit him, I settle with just giving him a hard shove in the chest that sent him stumbling back with a noisy slapping of his sandals on the stone floor. What the fuck, Alex? He windmills his arm trying to catch his balance, and when he finally does, he brings his paws up to his chest, his ears pinned back and claws unsheathed. I don't know if Alex is any good at fighting, but I'd rather not get raped by those things, so I hold off on giving him another shove. Besides, he's looking scared again, staring at me wide-eyed. Don't touch me! I grit my teeth, forcing myself not to do it again. Then tell me what it is that you're doing. Why did you do this? What? This time I step forward and raise my fist threatening, and immediately the cat covers his face, cowering. I realized then that Alex probably doesn't have any fighting skills at all. That he might actually be a coward rather than just pretending to be one. This realization cools my desire to really hurt the cat. Instead, I just wait again until Alex lowers his paw, looking at me with fear. I guess that's a good thing. Amicus has told me in the past that the few sapient primates in the Galaxis are really only known for a few things, one being that they can't swim and the other being their incredible strength. I suppose a good reputation to have, even if it's not true for humans. But Alex wouldn't know that. I take another threatening step forward. Tell me. All right. I'm surprised by the cat's sudden explanation. His eyes screwed shut as he raises his paws to his head fur, tugging at it in distress. I'll tell you whatever it is I'll tell you whatever it is you want if you just leave me alone. I'm tired of this goddamn palace of psychopathic wolves and half-developed children. I ignore that jab at me, staring at the cat waiting. I'll probably be deported soon anyway, if not executed. The cat's voice catches in his throat and he raises a paw to his mouth, seemingly about to cry again. He really is scared. That gives me an idea. Listen, I'm trying to help Amicus to his rightful place on the throne. Maybe if you help me out, and Amicus does become emperor, I can work something out for you. You know how close the two of us are. I wait as he tries to gather himself, clasping his paws together before simply looking at the ground. He doesn't say anything, though, so I sigh. Why did you tell Cato about our plan? Alex echoes my sigh, looking way off to the side. There's a lot of Galaxia's politics that you wouldn't understand, Mark. Well, simplify it for me, then. I might be half-developed, but I think I'm starting to get the hang of how things work around here. And if I tell you, you'll help me leave this cursed moon? I grit my teeth. Yes. Alex side-eyes me before shaking his head. I became a pet for a single reason, not for ambassadorial or Adastra omnivore relations, not even to gather intelligence. I mean, originally that was my purpose, but I became close to Cassius over the course of several official meetings and dinners. My department took notice and altered my assignment. The cat goes quiet again. All right, then. What are you here for now? Alex takes a deep breath and looks me in the eye. Chaos. I wait, but that's all the cat says. I frown at him. You're here to create chaos. Alex's voice suddenly becomes monotonous. An unstable government creates an unstable society. So Alexius, that's your plan. That's what you've been doing all of this for, because you want anarchy. That's literally... That is so stupid. That makes no sense. I mean, I'm thinking, that's your game plan. That's your end game to cause anarchy at Adastra. That's it. Okay, if it's the unstable government's the issue, it seems like that if anything, the cats would want to place somebody that they trust. I mean, what do you think having no government's gonna do? Having no government's gonna create an even more unstable society. At least at first. Granted, after time, it probably would probably be stable society, but do you know how much unstable society you would have if you start off with anarchy, and that's your game plan? Your game plan is, we want peace in the Galaxis, let's cause anarchy, that'll cause peace. Oh my god, look at that. I have a headache right now. This makes no sense at all. No sense whatsoever. Progress is stalled and outward endeavors turn inward. The society worries less about what is happening outside their borders, while becoming more concerned with their own issues. It's like he's reciting something that's heard many times before. Thinking about it, the explanation seems to have some reason to it. Alex's seemingly senseless decisions, shifting alliances, and general odd behavior could be explained by this. He's only here to make things more difficult for the wolves to integrate back into the Galaxis, to prevent them from regressing out of the technological and economic slump they're currently in. He's not just against me, Amicus, Cassius, or even Cato, but rather all of us at once. I think about the billowing smoke over Adastra City, what's probably happening to dozens of cities right now, and I suddenly feel an overwhelming feeling of disgust for the cat in front of me. A lot of things have happened on this moon that bother me, but this particular act of sabotage is probably the worst. Just something about how careless it is, not knowing what will even happen, just that it will hurt the Empire, the people. Alex sees the look on my face and quickly takes a step back, looking away. I understand that it might seem harsh, but it is my duty to Omnifor and the Galaxis as a whole to keep us safe from Adastra. If you knew the history... I assume you started the rumors about the Tremorverts, then pinned it on me. I may have started the rumors, but I never implicated you. But you knew that would happen. Alex opens his mouth, then shuts it, looking away again. And after I woke up in the gardens, told you about the doctor, you probably told Cato about our relationship then too. Alex frowns deeply, taking another step back, looking almost like a child I got caught doing something wrong. I feel my face grow hot. Not really confident anymore that I'll be able to hold myself back from caving this cat's face in. Maybe later, but this isn't important right now, even if this creature in front of me is responsible for half my troubles, if not all of them. Where's Nephru or Virginia? Alex looks surprised for a moment at the sudden shift in conversation. Well, Virginia's to be married to Cato later today. What? What? What the hell? Oh! Well, that is a surprise. A big surprise. Okay. Yeah, this place certainly is full of backstabbers. You got that right. My stomach lurches at that, but before I can even start to comprehend what that means, Alice goes on. As for Nephru, well, you don't know. I've been locked in Amicus's room all day. I don't know anything. Well, Nephru is scheduled to be executed, I think. I stare. What? When? I'm not completely sure. I woke up alone in the dining room and saw it on the news channel. No, when is he being executed? I don't know. It was going to be sometime today. But it hasn't happened yet, right? I don't... Calm. I cut Alex off, not caring more about alerting Calm to my location. Yes, Mark. Has Nephru been executed? There's a pause. For a moment, all I can hear is my heartbeat hammering in my ears, and for a surreal moment, I feel like I'm going to pass out and I have to square my stance to make sure I don't go falling over. The pause seems longer than normal, like Calm is having trouble finding the information that I asked for. Then, here's what I found. The execution of Nephru, the Pharaoh's second son, is to take place in the Royal Amphitheater on the 14th hour for crimes of espionage and conspiracy to murder Emperor Cassius. Cato is gonna cause a war. If you kill the Pharaoh's son, he's not gonna take it lightly. You really are going to cause both, and probably both of the planets are going to suffer severely for it, kingdoms. The execution will be broadcast live on all public... How much time until the 14th hour? 14 minutes and 31 seconds. Shit. What the hell am I supposed to do? That's not enough time at all. Even if I get to Amicus, I can't get him out in time before... The cat. I turn my eyes on Alex and he immediately backs away again, trembling. Can you get Amicus out of the dungeons? In that moment, I almost slap him, but I stubbornly force my shaky hands to stay at my sides. Can you fucking get him out or not? I think so. Cassius gave me almost unlimited access to comm security. My heart leaps in my chest. Then let's go down there and get him the hell out. I turn to the door, but notice Alex is still frozen in the same place. The look on my face makes him cringe again. Yes, but you won't let him in prison or execute me if I do. Alex, I will kill you right now if you don't fucking do what I tell you. The cat jumps and yelps as I scream at him, scrambling to head out the door with me hot on his heels. See, I like this. Now the main character finally got some gonads. This is what I wanted to see in the beginning. This is what I wanted to see in the beginning. I wanted the character to freak the hell out. We saw a little glimpse of it in the beginning when he knocked out Amicus, but then he becomes so submissive. Now he's becoming angry. I would have liked to see him be aggressive as hell in this new planet and then gradually temper himself as we get closer to the end. That would make more sense to me. I don't like this as much, but I do like talking shit to Alex because screw Alex. I hate Alex right now. Oof. Oof, the Adastra. Okay, Tendo said the Adastra Wicca says Cato is 147 years old and Virginia is about 24. Oof, that is. Oof, that's rough. That is rough. I don't have anything. I don't really talk crap about older people or younger people, but that's a little much. Especially for the fact that it's not really love. Oof, that's rough. The cat was at least right about one thing. I would never be able to be a diplomat if that's what he really is. I follow as closely to the cat as possible, practically stepping on his heels. Alex is clearly aware of it as his ears twitch back and forth nervously, trying to inconspicuously glance back at me every now and then. Halfway to the dungeons, though, the PSA system crackles over on our heads. Crackles over our heads. Citizens of Adastra, please prepare for an imperial address by Emperor Cato. Alex looks back, but I force him to keep going with some prodding in his back, praying that maybe this won't have to do with the execution, or that Cato might be canceling it altogether. I don't really think Cato's the kind of person to cancel this kind of stuff. Sorry to say. Of course, that's not the case. Citizens, it is a monumentous day in the long history of a glorious moon. I shove at Alex's back again. Just run. Alex does as he's told, though it's still not as fast as I'd like to go. After 10,000 years, we are finally choosing our own path. We are taking control of our destiny. I'm beginning to trust that after waiting for so long, unsure what my own destiny might be. It's going to be decided today, no matter what the outcome might be. And that begins with showing our fellow siblings that we will no longer tolerate their belittling, their false sense of superiority, their arrogance. Alex and I come up on the door that leads down to the dungeon, and the cat awkwardly starts climbing down the ladder, having a great deal of trouble with his robes. And we especially will not tolerate spies, which I have kneeling before me as I speak. Hurry! I yell at the cat as I start sliding down the ladder myself, almost knocking him off as we reach the ground at almost the same time. The offer of false alliances, the whore of shackles, the flower of Kebia. I follow the stumbling cat through the musty hall of the dungeon, never having been in this deep before, considering my meetings with Amicus had to take place near the entrance. We reach the cell door, and Alex presses a paw to a panel on the wall, a beige marble slab rather than the more glossy black panels above. It opens to a small cramped cell, a bed in one corner, a sink, a toilet, and tiny shower in another, and what looks like a desk near the door. Amicus is in the bed, curled up on his side facing away from us. Amicus! I shove roughly past Alex, sending him to smack face first against the doorframe with a yelp. The big wolf starts to stare before I reach him and throw my arms over him. I feel him jump underneath me, and I know I've just woken him up. He turns his head to look at me. Mark? He sits up against my, hugging, automatically wrapping my arms around him. Wait, how did you... He looks over my shoulder. Alex? Amicus, Cato is emperor. He's about to execute Nefer. You need to... I choke on my words, only now feeling the weight of the information I'm just dropping on Amicus right now. You need to challenge him to combat. I surprise myself as I suddenly start to cry, relaying my own words as I say them. In that moment, I can see all the confusion, bewilderment, and shock in my wolf's face, his mouth hanging open just slightly. He probably wants to ask me a million questions, but in that space of a few seconds, I see its expression set into one of serious determination. All right, where is he? The sudden shift from confusion to a sense of duty and confidence actually stops my crying, even as the first tears spill over. The amphitheater, it's happening right now. For just a moment, the wolf continues to hold me, wipes a tear away with his thumb, then gently moves me beside as he swings his legs over the edge of the bed. Alex, can I leave the dungeon? Calm. Let Amicus leave the dungeons. Please? Alex looks up at the ceiling, clearly unsure of what he's doing. Shall I remove Amicus from the prisoner list, Alex? Yes? It is done. At that moment, I suddenly realized then that Cato isn't being broadcast down here. I don't even know if the execution has been carried out yet or not. Amicus hops off the bed. All right, we must move. This time, Alex is knocked on his ass as Amicus practically steamrolls him on his way out the door. I jump over the cat as I follow the wolf. Though much bigger, Amicus is still just slightly faster than I am as I sprint after him, his thundering footfalls echoing through the halls. He yells back at me as I follow. What of Cassius? Poisoned. I don't know what his condition is right now. I gasp about the answer, and I can't see his face as Amicus is silent, continuing to run. We reach the ladder, and Amicus somehow climbs the thing with 3 gigantic lunges, skipping several rungs at a time. By the time I reach the top, he's already out of sight. You know what would be a dick move? What would be a dick move if I stopped right now? We're not going to do that, though. We're going to keep going. How long have I been recording? I said about 2 hours. Yeah, we still got time. So now, let this be a warning to Chemia or any other sibling race. I run out to the gardens in the direction of the amphitheater. I just catch sight of Amicus's tail as it disappears around some trees, down the trail that leads to where Cato should be. We will not hesitate to eliminate you if you meddle in our matters. There's a sense of finality to those words, and I know that we're out of time. I'm on the path to the amphitheater, and though it only takes a few seconds to make it to the end, it feels like an eternity. You are on the right path. I burst into the clearing of the amphitheater just as I hear Amicus yell, Stop! I look down the steps to see my wolf standing at the base of the stairs, his paws out wide, standing in front of Neferu and Cato. The jackal is knelt on the ground, his paws restrained behind his back, somehow, a look of dazed disbelief on his face. His face is forced to look up because Cato has a hold of his head fur, tilting the jackal's head up so that his neck is fully exposed. In Cato's other massive paws, a shiny gold decorative dagger is just inches away from Neferu's neck. Meanwhile, directly across from me, sitting in front of the statue of Dresius, sits Virginia, a wreath of flowers on her head, looking shocked as she stares at her brother. I challenge you, Cato. I challenge you to a trial by combat for the throne, as is my birthright. It's always hard to judge Cato's facial expressions, but I can see the tightness in his jaw all the way up from here. Ooh. Cato glances upward, and for a moment I wonder if somehow he knows I'm there, that he can see me. But then I notice the camera drones hovering overhead, broadcasting the thought of Adastra. The entire Empire is seeing this. Why don't we wait until this is finished, Amicus? It would be wise to stay your paw, Cato, unless you're afraid you'll lose the trial. The corner of Cato's scarred eye twitches. I can tell then that Amicus is playing this all up to the cameras, and that seems to settle it for Cato. With a grunt, he pulls Neferu up to his feet by his head fur, making the jackal wince before shoving him down toward the front seat where Neferu slumps down. Then the old wolf walks past Amicus, setting the dagger down on the long curved bench as well, across the aisle from Neferu. You know what, Amicus? I think you're right. This is something we should do immediately. We don't want to leave the Empire in limbo for any longer, do we? Amicus watches the other wolf wearily as he walks around him to stand in the center of the amphitheater. It's best to settle everything as soon as possible. I know that Cato is referring to all of us, Cassius, Virginia, Neferu, me, and I'm sure Amicus does too, because he glances back up at me for just a moment. Then let us settle it. Slowly, I start to make my way down the steps, glancing over at Virginia to see that she's sitting up completely straight, staring at Cato and Amicus, her paws clutched in her lap. I'm also going to save real quick, because I feel like something serious is about to happen. Oh, I'm stuffed up. Things are about to get serious. Hold on, everyone. I have to blow my nose. Give me like 2 seconds. I know this is part of serious. I think I might be getting sick. Okay, much better. Alright. Hello, much better. Okay, we are getting into serious stuff right here. I move towards Neferu, who's sitting on the front bench, hunched over a bit, and I can see metal glinting where his arms are held back. Alright then, trial by combat, simple pugny with no weapons, just teeth and claws. Cato stretches. I'll give you the advantage of sight, Amicus. This should be no trouble for you at all, eh? Even though that's true, Cato still seems very, very confident. And he has every right to be, considering his skill at fighting, along with the fact that Amicus has been locked up for several days in a cramped cell. He probably only said that to increase the humiliation if Amicus loses. If he dies. It's then that I start to feel the dread and terror begin to poke through the numb shock I've been feeling. But somehow, Amicus looks completely calm, and I take some sort of comfort in that. Quietly, I sit down next to Neferu when he glances over at me. Oh, Mark, What brings you here? Though his words are casual, his usual smug demeanor is gone, practically blanked out as he sits there slightly hunched. Are you okay? I whisper to him, and Nephru takes that as his cue to do so as well. The jackal shrugs his shoulders. Not exactly, no, but I'm alive for the time being, so I suppose I can't ask for much more. I look back into the amphitheater, wishing that I were able to do something more. I try to catch Amicus's eye, but he keeps his focus on Cato, his own eyes narrowed. He looks confident, prepared, ready for whatever it is that Cato throws at him. But I'm not ready. I'm not ready at all. That brief interaction in the dungeon, those few seconds of holding on to one another, that could be the last time we ever... I blink back tears again, knowing that won't do me any good right now. Are you ready, Amicus? Yes. Then let us begin. Immediately, the two wolves begin to circle each other, paws raised up to their chest, open and ready. The only difference from past Pugny fights I've seen is that they're both baring their teeth. Amicus does it in a way that I've never seen before, not even when he was furious. It's vicious, feral, like I've seen wolves do in nature documentaries. Then they clash. It's so fast that I'm unable to tell who moved first, but one moment they're several feet apart, and the next their paws are clasped together, with their jaws snap in the air, both going for the other's throat. Glistening strands of saliva go flying as they both bite and block with their teeth, ears pinned back, making hoarse, angry barking and growling sounds. It's something I've never seen an Adastran wolf do, not even in their fake dramas. This feels raw and instinctual, like it's a part of them, something they try to conceal, only to come up to the surface when they're trying to kill. I find myself hugging my chest, feeling as if my heart might explode as I watch Amicus trying to see if he's hurt, wincing every time I hear the sound thwack of teeth on teeth. It might only have lasted a few seconds, I can't tell, but finally Amicus pulls back and Cato suddenly lunges in for the other wolf's neck. Time seems to slow, and for a moment I start to think about what I'm going to do if I lose them. But then Cato's open, fang-filled maw drops down, and so does the rest of him as Amicus sweeps his legs with a powerful kick. Cato goes down hard on the side right in front of me, wheezing before Amicus jumps on him, landing on the other older wolf with his knees and a fist to the face. Cato doesn't even seem to notice that, though, as he immediately grabs onto Amicus, their paws scrabbling at each other as they both try to find a hold. They're at a stalemate for a while, each one failing to find a good grip as they both twist and turn over each other, making snarling sounds all the while. At some points I have trouble discerning the two, their legs and arms seeming to blend together as they grip around the other's body. I was never told much about combat to the death, even when I asked Nephru. All I know is that they tend to be very short, but it's already felt like an eternity. Suddenly, I am able to tell them apart as Cato locks Amicus' right arm in a shoulder lock. Well, I've seen it done before, usually get the other opponent to tap out. Cato immediately goes all the way, and the quiet of the early evening is shattered with a massive pop and a crunching sound. Ooh! Amicus screams, and I find myself standing without realizing it. It takes everything I have not to jump in right now, even as Cato leads into the hold, causing Amicus to convulse from the pain. Then Cato lets go, and my wolf curls over onto his side, shaking violently, loosely holding his arm with his other paw. I want to go to him, but Cato was already there. Pushing the younger wolf over onto his back. I should have done this a long time ago, pup. I knew this would happen. Amicus tries to fight back with his good arm, even his legs trying to lock his ankles around Cato's neck, but the old wolf straddles Amicus' waist before slamming a fist hard into his nose. There's a softer crunching sound this time, and Amicus immediately goes limp, eyes vacant, paws falling to his side. I knew Cato was too skilled for Amicus, but for some reason I thought... These are the events that shall happen. You are on the right path. But am I? Mark, Nephru whispers hurriedly at me. Cato hits Amicus again, even though the other wolf has stopped moving, and Amicus jerks under the weight of a slightly larger wolf. Mark, you must run. Cato likely does not know you're here. Amicus' eyes are half closed, unaware for his last moments as Cato pushes his rear down the other wolf's thighs, giving himself room to reach Amicus' neck. Run to the city, to the woods, anywhere. I shake my head silently. Was this really meant to happen? Why was I put on this path if it ended my wolf's death? Why aren't the parents helping me? At that moment, the light of the setting sun catches something shiny to my left. I look over and I'm almost immediately blinded by the brilliant reflection of Vita's light on the blade of the blade. Oh, dagger. I'm so freaking into this right now. I'm freaking just can't talk right now. Oh my gosh. The one that Cato had set aside after almost executing Nephru. Red and blue jewels decorate the handle, while the gold blade shines brighter than any metal I've seen before. The rules don't matter. Robotically, I lean over the aisle and grab the dagger by the handle. Mark? I ignore Nephru, and at the same time I see Virginia directly across from me. Her eyes are wide as she's standing too, but instead of looking at the fight, at Cato's jaws coming closer and closer to Amicus's neck, she's instead looking at me and pointing. She's pointing right at Cato, silently encouraging me to do what I'm about to do. But I don't need encouragement. The rules don't matter. I jump from my seat, the distance so little that I come down practically on top of the wolves. At the same time, I raise the dagger in both hands over my head and bring it down as hard as I can into Cato's back. As if in slow motion, I feel the blade slide into my target, very easily at first, like cutting through butter. Then suddenly I feel something hard, and there's an odd muffled shuddered sound of friction as the blade slows considerably. It continues to sink in, though, in sudden bursts of a few inches at a time, and it's only when the hilt reaches Cato's fur that I realize I've cut deep into bone. A rib, maybe. Cato howls, suddenly arching back, and I can only hope I was fast enough that he wasn't able to sink his teeth into Amicus's neck. I'm not finished though, and I tug once, then twice before I'm finally able to wrench the blade out of the bone. For that split second, Cato began reaching back awkwardly, unable to find my weapon before I've drawn it back again, above my head before bringing it down as hard as I can into the right side of Cato's neck, just at the base. This time the blade sinks in easily, once again all the way to the hilt. I yank it back once more, intent on plunging it in again, but finally, Cato turns on me, blindly swinging his paw out. His fingers from my right forearm as I'm raising the blade once again, and he takes a tight hold. Mark! His explanation is part astonishment, part fury. His other paw finds the dagger, and even though I try to hold onto it, he slides out of my hands feeds, even though he's holding onto the blade's end. Blood is everywhere at this point, and I can only hope it's Cato's. I can only hope it's only Cato's. I start to back away, trying to look down at Amicus to see what's happened to him, but that's when Cato swings at me again. I feel air tickle my neck and chin, and for a moment I think I've dodged his swing. But then I see that he's holding out the blade, out to his right after having swung it at me. Something's wrong. Oh my god, no, oh my gosh, no! Is he gonna die? Oh my god, no, please, please, please do not. Oh my gosh, does he die? Oh, does the main character die? No. He can't die. He can't die. No, because their romance is too good. No, please, don't. Oh my gosh, please don't have them die, because I'm gonna freak out. I know. No. He can't die. He can't die. Something's wrong. Something's very wrong. I look down and see a sudden spurt of blood splattering the stones below me. Then another spurt. Then another. I step back again and gasp. And when I do, it feels like the air comes in from two places at once. And I cough as something liquid goes down my throat the wrong way. Oh my god, he cut his... Oh my gosh, he cut his neck! No! He's dead! He's dead. He's gonna die. Again, I gasp, and this time I hear a bubbling sound from my throat. And I finally understand what's happened as I raise my hands to my neck, stumbling and falling. I expect to slam back against the stone seats, but instead it's against something furry and warm. I look up and see Nephru sitting over me as he moved to catch me off his lap. He's staring at me with a look of horror on his face. Mark! He looks up. Amicus, wake up and help him! I frown, still worried about Cato, and sure enough, as I look forward, I see the false emperor on one knee, clasping his neck, bleeding just as much as I am. His ears are perked forward, towards Nephru's voice, and I see him start to make his way towards us. Kebian. The wolf's eyes are wild, furious, focused in the direction of Nephru. He seems to have already forgotten me, even as he seems to realize that he's dying. You caused this. I feel that those words, you and this, carry much more meaning for Cato than I can ever hope to know. It's a strange moment as I lay in Nephru's lap, bleeding out. I suppose I knew Cato blamed the Kemians for most of his problems, for most of the problems in the Empire. He tried it, but... Oh my gosh, this is an important part. Give me a second, everyone. Give me a really quick second, because somebody has to call me right now. At the best part. I'll be right back. Okay, everyone, I'm back. Sorry about that. Oh my gosh, I was like, come on, I was like at the best part because oh my gosh, I'm really hoping MC doesn't die because I'm gonna freak out. Oh gosh. He tried to hide it by pretending to give Amicus a fair shot at the Emperorship, and that slowly unraveled. His intentions became clear, and so did his insanity. He intends to kill Nephru to completely kill any chance of an alliance, even if it means the complete destruction of the Wolfen Empire. Somehow, that's a risk worth taking for Cato. The old wolf draws closer, practically crawling now, leaving heavy splatters of blood across the ground. He weakly raised the dagger. Oh, shoot. Hold on. No. Of course. Hold on. My thing fell off. Oh, shoot. Okay, we're good. Okay, there we go. He weakly raises the dagger, and I feel Nephru tense behind me, probably getting ready to roll out of the way, but then something wraps around Cato's neck. With a gargled... Oh, sorry. I'll make sure something. With a gargled choke, Cato is pulled back by Amicus before being body slammed to the ground. Then Amicus is on the old wolf, muzzle against his neck, tearing it apart. I stare in shock, then look down, away from the horror from what I'm seeing. And that's when I see myself covered in blood. So much blood. My entire naked torso is painted red, and more of it continues to pour over my chest in waves, though it's less than the initial spurts I've seen when I was standing up. I've raised my hands to my neck, still feeling that strange cold feeling reaching deep in my throat, like everything's open and exposed to the air. I try to talk, to tell Nephru that I need help, but only a raspy bubbling hiss comes out of my neck. I look up, seeing Nephru looking down at me, his expression again one of disbelief. I suppose it would be pretty shocking to see your friend with his neck open, dying in your lap. Am I dying? I try to cover my neck again, but the gash is so deep, it feels like if I lean too far back, my head will just flop over onto my back. Vaguely, I hear Amicus' snarling sounds, along with Cato's raspy screams, sounding just like me when I was trying to talk. The edges of my vision start to go blurry and black, and Nephru's face starts to fade away. Oh, I'm gonna get upset. I'm gonna cry because I don't want him dead. I don't want fucking him to die. Suddenly there's a big shift and I wake back up, this time finding Amicus looking down at me. No! Oh my god, no! Please don't! Stop! Oh my god, no! I gotta save this, by the way. Oh my god, no, we're gonna die. Oh my gosh. No, he's gonna. Oh my god. I'm gonna get emotional. I gotta take a minute. Oh my gosh. I'm gonna. Oh my god. No. Like I said, I have some issues with the story, but the romance between the two characters is so good. No, are they really? No, are they gonna really die? And an overwhelming sense of relief comes over me. I do get to see my wolf after all. I smile up at him, even as he stares at me with a look of complete and utter devastation. No, please! Get Felix, Virginia! Tell Alex to get Felix! His tears start to fall on my face, and I reach up, trying to brush them away like he's done for me a few times. He catches my hand before I can, though, pressing it back to my neck. You'll be fine, you're going to be fine! It's not bad! I actually chuckle a little at that because this is very bad. I can tell without even being able to see it. I see the edges of my vision blurring again, and my eyes seem to try and roll upward on their own, but Amicus gives me a little shake, and that brings me back for a moment. Hey, stay here, okay? You'll stay with me, yeah? I nod deliriously, the overwhelming feeling of calm and warmth keeping me happy and full of love, even though I know what's about to happen to me. I'm here. I try to speak, but I only send more bubbling blood out of my neck. No, you don't need to talk. I have you. How unfair. My last moments. I can't even tell my wolf that I love him. I reach up with my free hand, setting it gently against Amicus's face. I caress his cheek softly, knowingly, and though he holds it against his face with his own free paw, he shakes his head at me. Stop that. You're going to be fine. Felix will heal you. We'll rest in my room. I'll take you to the island. I'll take you to the city. We'll be happy. We'll grow old together. The tears start spilling over again, and I just try to keep the smile on my face to show Amicus that I'm okay. That I'm happy. That this is all okay. And though his grief is hard to look at, there's nothing I'd rather be seeing at the end. My wolf's face, framed by the pinkish reds of the sunset. And then, as my eyes start rolling back again, I can't stop them, no matter how hard Amicus shakes me. God, he died. Oh my God. Mark, no, please! Don't leave me here. Please come back to me. You can't leave me to be alone like this. I'm here. No, 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 speak to me! I'm staying with you. Oh my gosh. Oh, I need a moment. I need a moment. I need a moment. I need a moment. Oh my gosh. No. Why did you have to do this? You get us through this whole journey and then it dies and then the fucking MC dies. No. Oh my gosh. No. And I fucking felt that emotion. I know, yes. Tendo just said the music died. The music makes it so much worse because it's like the music just played like it's so sad. Oh my god. Hopefully I didn't blow anybody's eardrums out. Oh my gosh. I was so happy with them. And then of course, let's keep going. There's more story to go. I drift through the blackness, feeling a sense of peace like I've never known before. Even though the space is empty, I feel crowded with others. So many others is it one another. I sense so many different minds and thoughts melted together as one. Hello. We apologize for what has happened to you. We know that you are confused. We told you that this could be prevented, and it will be. You will not leave him to be alone. Be at peace for now, for he will come for you. Wait for him. Amicus is the victor. All hail Emperor Amicus. The words sound hollow in Amicus's ears, and so does the fate more of the crowds in Adastra city all the way across the lake. So wait, are we dead or are we not dead? Wait. Are they gonna... Oh, I forgot! They might bring us back to life, because they did that... They did bring us back to life a long time ago when I played through this. I can't remember what part. When we got sick from that disease, they supposedly brought us back to life. Maybe they'll bring... Oh, please bring us back to life. I don't usually like writing like that, but no, please bring us back to life. The wolf can only stare down the human in his arms, suddenly realizing how light and fragile he actually is. And the blood... So much blood that paints the front of his human that just moments ago had been so full of life. A tear drops from the tip of Amicus's nose and onto Mark's neck, mixing with the blood that has now stopped flowing from the deep gash. Air no longer bubbles through the red liquid either. A strange choking sound works its way out of Amicus's lips, one he's never heard himself make before. The overflowing sadness in the heart has seemingly run out to be replaced by something empty, cold. Like there's nothing there anymore. Still, Amicus wills the human to live, to use those special healing abilities he seemed to possess, to breathe again. But even as Virginia moves to find Felix, Amicus knows that nothing can be done for something like this. Cato had very nearly beheaded the human, cutting through everything that was important. Cradling Mark's head carefully, Amicus raises the young human up to his chest, hugging him tightly, squeezing his eyes shut and feeling the willing tears pour out over his cheeks, down his chin into the human's hair. It's quiet, and Amicus opens his eyes to see Nefer still sitting there in front of him, staring in shock. When the jackal meets his eye, he quickly dips his head, lowering his ears. Amicus, I'm so sorry. The wolf raises his eyes as he drones just above Nefer's head, hovering it as the lens focus. Oh boy, we got big words we're using today. Voyeuristically on him, broadcasting his grief to Adastra. But this is nothing like those dramas, the tragedies of romantic death he'd seen play out on the screen so many times before. There was nothing romantic about this, as Amicus is sure his audience is finding it to be right now. This is real death, and the feeling is familiar. It's hollow, empty, suffocating, like being pulled down into a bottomless, cold, black ocean. It's like when Mother died and Cassie then screamed over her body like a wounded animal. It's like when he heard the news Father had died and how he'd fallen to his knees, clutching his chest and gasping for air like he'd been shot. But this is worse somehow, and Amicus can't even comprehend it. It hits him harder than anything he's felt in his life. Everything is going gray, the color being sucked from his vision, from his life. And even though he's not sobbing now, the tears are flowing freely down his cheeks. He isn't sure how he can recover from this at all. He knows he probably never will. This is his fault. He'd forced the human here. He'd made himself feel better by saying Mark had a choice in the matter, was free to do as he pleased. But that wasn't true at all. He'd taken the human's life just as Cato had now. Amicus realizes then that he's no different from the wolves he thought himself to be above. That he was more enlightened somehow in trying to hold all sapient life as equal. He's even worse. And even though it would break his heart never to have met Mark, Amicus only wished they'd never brought him here in the first place. To his death. The thought brings another wave of heart-wrenching grief to crash through his hollow chest, and for a moment he almost can't breathe. Please, Mark, the homo whispers into the human's hair, his voice not only a soft whine as fresh tears blur his vision. His teachings since he was a pup began to come to mind. Mark's soul, like the soul of all sapiens, is ascending to the greater intelligence, mingling with the lives of billions of others, with his father, his mother, maybe Cassius too. A place he'd also join one day. But the human soul belonged here, in his arms, not to be mixed and consumed by the parents. Not yet. That mixed singular being isn't Mark. It's like a beautiful mural being shattered, then reconstructed into something else. Mark still exists at this very moment. He exists, but it's no longer him. Amicus grits his teeth, feeling anger begin to overcome the overwhelming grief. No. 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 How dare they? This isn't fair. The parents had spoken to Mark and told him what to do, had led him to this point. When the human had told Amicus that he was worried about something terrible happening, Amicus grits his teeth, remembering how he'd brushed it off, even though he told Mark that he believed him, that he'd have nothing to worry about if he followed their guidance. No. Amicus shakes his head, still clutching onto the human tightly. Amicus? Niffer's voice is tentative, almost fearful, like he's worried about what Amicus might do. Amicus is even sure of that himself as he rises to his feet, cradling the human in his one good arm, easily able to do so because of their difference in size. He turns and walks quickly toward the palace, almost jogging, ignoring the various jolts of pain throughout his body. He doesn't even glance down at Cato's unmoving body as he passes by. The wolf's expression is static now, a strange rage bubbling just under the surface. Amicus! Niffer calls after him, but Amicus ignores the shackle, set on one thing, and one thing only. The parents might have taken his parents, maybe even his brother, but they aren't going to take this human. He won't allow it. As the wolf enters the palace, he notices Alex pacing the hallway. He stops as he sees the wolf approaching. Amicus, I heard that you're now Emperor, and... He trails off as he sees Mark cradled in the wolf's arm. The blood covering the body, flowing down a limply hanging arm to drip gently from the fingertips. Amicus brushes past the cat, eyes set straight ahead, expressionless. Nothing seems to exist outside of the wolf's tunnel vision. Soon he comes to the door he's looking for and leans forward, pressing his injured shoulder to the panel to open it, ignoring the blaze of pain that shoots through him as he does. Amicus approaches the archive, glaring at the orb as if the machinery itself is the parents. The big wolf comes to a stop in front of it, staring up at the glowing blue structure for a moment before looking down at Mark. The ashen color of the skin is unnerving, so different from the deep tones it once had. Mark is dead. Amicus knows that, but he won't accept it. The wolf presses his face close to the human's for a moment, feeling the fading warmth before kissing him gently on top of his head. With that, Amicus leans forward, pressing them both to the spear. Then he connects, and he merges with the universe. I want to stop here. Oh, I want to keep going, but I want to stop. I gotta stop, but I want to keep going. I'm gonna keep reading. I'm gonna read for a little bit more. We continue to drift through infinite space content. Despite everything, we trust the beings around us, all of us, and the others. The parents. The parents. This was all meant to happen. And though it was hard and terrible, the worst is now over. And that thought alone is enough to keep us completely relaxed. Waves and waves of release washing over us. In the the cacophony of thoughts and emotions, though, something stands out. Though the beings meld together, one seems to become separate for a moment, solely to focus directly on us. On me. This brings me out of my trance for a bit, and I turn my attention on them. Amicus? But then as I focus more on this being, I get a different feeling. Not him, but her? It seems like she wants to speak to me. She's not familiar, not someone I've spoken to before. But the intensity with which she's focusing on me. Hello? I reach out, but then suddenly the amalgamation of intelligence begins to pull away, and I feel myself extracted from its mass. The feeling is bizarre, and I almost miss the crowding of thoughts and feelings of being one with Minnie. But then I feel myself again, my body, beginning to materialize out of nothing. The nothingness around me slowly becomes something. For a moment, I'm floating in the air, and then I'm being held by something strong and solid. The first thing I see is Amicus's face. He's looking down at me, grim and determined. Just as I focus on him, though, his expression changes. Mark? I shift a little, trying to focus better on my wolf. Mark! Suddenly, I'm surrounded by fur, getting squeezed tight against Amicus, my face pressed into his neck. Instinctively, I wrap my arms around him. Oh, gods, are you real? Tell me you're real, Mark. Please. He gasps the words like he's coming up for air after diving to the bottom of the lake. I'm having trouble remembering things, why he seems so upset. But I know something bad happened and now it's over, so I try to comfort him. I'm real. I'm here. My voice is strange, like I haven't used it in a while. At first, I think I'm back in Amicus's room after I've woken up from the coma, still trying to convince him that everything is okay. Like we'd gone to sleep and just woken up and he wants to be reassured again that I'm not going to disappear. But then I remember that Cato came in that morning. Things fall into place like a long row of giant heavy dominoes. I suddenly sit up a bit and get to Amicus's chest, pushing back so I can look up at him. Wait, the fight! Cato, Amicus, are you okay? I look him over, trying to check his wounds. The blood and swelling that I see in the amphitheater is gone, though. He's clean and well-groomed, and his arm seems fine, judging by its sturdiness underneath me. My brief look at him has ended, though, as Amicus suddenly yanks me back against his chest, sobbing against me. I've seen Amicus cry before back in the dungeon, but not these gut-wrenching sobs that I can feel heaving through my own body. It serves to shock me to my senses even more. Firmly, I push back against his chest, creating space between them so I can hold his face in my hands. He just looks at me, crying openly, and I watch as the tears well out of his eyes and seem to disappear into the fur of his cheeks. I'm sure we both want to say a lot in this moment. What happened, what's happening now, what will happen, but at this particular moment in time and space, we're back together. It's impossible, but it's happening. So I cling to him again, and he just holds me as I press my face against his chest, listening to his hammering heart squeezing my eyes shut. If this is eternity, then I'm completely fine with it. I'm not sure how much time passes, but as this thought crosses my mind a few times, my eyes suddenly fly open. I press back again, looking up at the wolf, holding his face again. Wait, if you're here, did you... I wonder suddenly maybe Amicus had been seriously wounded in the fight. They didn't make it after all. But Amicus shakes his head gently, his sobs having quieted into subdued sniffles and hiccups. No, I'm fine. I would. Cato is dead. I fluttered with relief. He strokes my hair gently, slowly, and I wonder why he still looks so sad. But how are you here, aren't I? I look around at the infinite space of surrounding us. The stars and planets are unusually close, stunningly bright, and unimaginably vivid. The blues, purples, and blacks all deep and monolithic, signaling the endless space that stretches beyond. Am I dead? Amicus pulled me back against him, forcing me to look away from the churning universe. No, you're here. It sounds more like he's convincing himself rather than me. But where's here? Amicus is quiet for a moment, and I find myself content to lean against him for a while, just wanting to be close to him. At some point, Amicus had sat down, and I'm cradled in his lap. Considering we're not just floating around in zero gravity, I have to assume there's something solid underneath us somehow. Amicus sniffles again. I melded my mind with the archive to speak to the parents. That's all I know. I think, did I do the same then? I was holding you, but I didn't. My neck, the blood. I look up at him again. Amicus, am I alive? Amicus looks at me for a moment before his face screws up and tears well up again. I don't know. He winds out the words and I immediately hug him again. Hey, I'm okay. See? I'm here. Another sobbing fit starts. And now I know why. I must have died, and now, for whatever reason, the parents have let us reunite somehow. And I know that Amicus must be wondering the same thing that I am. How long is this going to last? I try to think of what to say in case this is our last moment together, in case I am going to be absorbed again. But my mind comes up short in the weirdest of ways, only able to think of things that don't matter. So I settle on what had just happened. You're Emperor now, Amicus. Amicus nods against me, not trusting his voice at the moment, apparently. I'm so happy for you. Now he shakes his head, smearing tears against my cheek. I hate seeing him like this. I hate that this might be the last way that I'll see him. Please don't cry. Let's just be together right now. I sit up straight and pull his head against my chest for once, cradling his massive form against me, caressing his ears and neck. I'm okay, I promise you. I went somewhere when I died. The word is so strange to say. It was really nice, full of people. I wasn't alone. It was peaceful. Amicus takes a deep shuddering breath, finally pulling back from my hug. That's wonderful, Mark, but I'm sorry because I'm not letting you go back there. Amicus suddenly looks resolute as he smirks through the tears. You're coming back with me. His voice breaks several times and I can tell that he really means it. He really is certain that he's going to drag me back from the dimension of the dead. I don't know what to say. I don't know much about the parents or the afterlife, but Amicus must, so I trust him. I smile up at him. Okay. He smiles back at me, then very suddenly kisses me. It's rough and wet, he kind of misses my lips, but I kiss back, holding him tightly. Once he finally draws back, I'm happy to see my wolf back to his usual confident self, even if he has to keep sniffling with his runny nose. I look around at the swirling cosmos again. Can you just get us out? Amicus frowns, looking around himself. This is actually my first time doing this, so I'm not sure. Amicus looks behind us, then up and down, then clears his throat. Calm, are you there? Silence. I can tell that Amicus is already out of ideas. The parents are doing this, right? I think so, though I've never spoken to them. You actually have more experience with that. Amicus grins at me, then looks back up. Maybe if we walk back? I give Amicus a straight look, and just as I'm about to point out the absurdity of walking back to Adastra through infinite space, a booming presence makes itself known. I suppose you are finished. Amicus and I both jump as the wolf leaps to his feet, keeping me held in his arms. Who's there? Amicus shouts into the void, snarling. It's okay, Amicus, it's just the monitor. I say it like he's just an old friend of mine. Amicus doesn't lower his guard, however, and continues to growl into space. The monitor expresses his amusement in that silent way of his, but I can understand why Amicus isn't letting his guard down. It's evident in the way that he's holding me, clutching me tightly to his chest. He's afraid I'm going to be taken back from him. I am too. If you are, I'll open the channel of communication now. Amicus raises an eyebrow. What the hell are you talking about? You wish to speak with the parents, correct? They wish to speak directly with you. At least as directly as is possible. There's a pause and I see the gears turning in Amicus's head as his ears flick. Yes. Then it is done. The monitor's presence vanishes and suddenly there's another one. Not one, but many, similar to what I had felt earlier. This is still different. Instead of melding together, these entities are distinct and separate from each other. But they're so similar that they could be copies of a single person. Their intentions feel disturbingly uniform, like they're all on the exact same path. Unlike the monitor, who had at least felt to be on a similar level as any other sapient, these entities feel alien. Which is a strange thing to feel after everything I've been through. But these things are so different. So different. I want to end here. Oh, I gotta keep going. But I want to end here. But I'm gonna keep going. Well, show yourself. Hold on, we're gonna save this, definitely. Amicus barks at the emptiness, somehow remaining brave in the face of all these titanic presences. You cannot see us. His mouth moves on its own, mind suddenly becoming empty, seeming to blend with the space around him. Amicus looks down at the human and confused. I gotta end here. It's going on late. I don't want to end, but I gotta end. All right, so we'll stop right after. We'll show yourself. No, we'll stop right here. I'm sorry, everyone. I gotta stop. I have to get ready for work. I'm so sorry, but it's so good. Oh, all right. So things are about to get. Things got. Man, I did not expect that to happen. This part. I did not expect to have Cassius possibly dead now. The MC's dead. Hopefully, he'll come back to life. It's looking like. Amicus is emperor, but he lost. Oh boy. Oh man, things got serious. All right, everyone. Did I save? No, we're gonna save. We're gonna save and we're gonna stop. We are going to go back to the main menu. Ooh, a lot happened this part. I was really getting emotional. I was really getting tears in my eyes with the MC's death scene. Oh my gosh. Okay, so there's a chance that he might come back though. There's a chance he might come back. It's looking like, but wow, that was heartbreaking, and the music did not help. I cannot wait to finish this. I'm gonna try for this week. I can't promise though. Tendo. I can't remember the name of his yet. The Tendo, who is in the server right now, Tendo, I'm going to be live streaming his visual novel this week. So, as far as we know, Cassius might be dead. We don't know, Tendo. I have no idea. He might be dead. We still don't know. But yeah, we're gonna be. I'm gonna be live streaming Tendo's visual novel this week. So this probably next week though, I'm gonna finish this up. We're gonna wrap this whole thing up. I'm gonna probably do it on one of my days off early in the week. We're gonna wrap up. We're gonna end this. So we're gonna be at the Adastra live stream. The final live stream will be next week. I cannot believe we're so close to being finished. This week, the only other thing I have planned is just to push out more. I'm gonna push out another four-letter word video this week. It's gonna be pushed out. So yeah, 4-letter word video this week. I'm going to be doing another live stream. It's going to be Tendo's visual novel. Next week, we're finishing Adastra. Next week, this will be all wrapped up, and then we move on to Kemia. You know what? I don't know. I don't know if I want to move on to Kemia. I might wait to do Kemia until there's another update next month. Would people want me to play Echo or Smoke Room first? I could do Smoke. I might start with Echo. Echo or Smoke Room. The next Echo project I play. But, thank you so much for everybody for stopping by here. I was getting so emotional. I was getting so emotional. But I'm really loving this. I'm very curious to see what happens with the parents now. And how Amicus is going to feel about it. And Cato's dead. Cato died. He's done. He's dead. Really thought Alex's plan, not going to lie, thought Alex's plan was stupid. Didn't like Alex's plan. Thought there was an ulterior motive besides anarchy. Didn't like his motive, but the visual novel has not ended yet. I will wait to get to finishing it before I give my thoughts and feelings on how I felt about the visual novel. Obviously, one of them, like I said before, is pacing. I think the pacing is a little all over the place. Even for the scene that just happened. But, you know, thank you so much to everybody for stopping by the live stream. Please feel free to like, comment, or subscribe. Share this channel to your friends. This channel keeps growing bigger and bigger every day, and I love each and every one of the members of my Fallenpack so much. We are all here together, and I'm always here for you. Mwah. But this is Fallenwolf. Oh! And I'll see all of you next time. Take care of yourselves. Have a beautiful day, night, afternoon, whatever it is. And I'll see you next week with the finale of Adastra. Take care. Bye.